Hey y'all, how you doing today? All right. First of all, I would like to apologize about the weird glare on the screen. I'm afraid there's nothing I can do about it. It is the effect of the crack on the screen, which is actually right here. But um, for but let's just carry on, okay? The other big news is I want to say thank you very much for all the subscribers, new and old. We are now at 570 subscribers, so I really appreciate that. It's just puts me over the moon. It's really just amazing. You all did that too, okay? Yeah, I'm putting out these videos and I'm coming up with the information and the material and stuff like that and making the videos and putting them out. But you all are subscribing, and I really seriously appreciate that. I mean that too. Okay, so let's get down to business. Okay, why I'm making this video. Last video, I left you all off with me cleaning the brake drums and the axles and putting the new studs in and that sort of thing. I would like to say this: why I did not use an impact gun to drive the studs in. A couple of good reasons. One is I did not want to damage the threads on the studs, the new studs, being brand new studs, and most likely they're probably from China. Um, but also is that most of you all, I feel like a lot of my viewers don't have access to an air impact gun or any sort of impact gun. Now, the battery or cordless electric impacts are pretty good. So, some of those, you could use some of those as well. But just use a lot of the same things I did, to pull these in and into the hub, and you're good. Whether you're doing it by hand or you're doing it with an impact gun. The drums. Let's get you to looking at the drums. And voila. Rusty, crusty, nasty, ugly wheel drum, brake drums to these. So much nicer. Good even coat. All right, now here's the gist. That is, okay. I'm going to get a CAT scan by Oliver. Okay, these are painted with a type of primer that is, it's called this here Rust-Oleum Rust Reformer. Instantly converts rust to a protective paintable surface. I used this on some wheels about a year and a half ago. They have been doing fantastic. They're on my daughter's horse trailer. But unfortunately, they haven't seen any heat like a brake drum will, or not as much heat as a brake drum will. Let's just say that. So I'm thinking, I've went and I've painted them with gloss black, also in a spray can, but the engine enamel. Okay, so that will hopefully protect them for some time to come. And I also did the little ends here in the axles. They turned out fantastic. One thing is, if you're doing this, make sure your surfaces are very clean. Also, make sure you don't have any oils or any kind of contaminants on the surfaces at all. And also, the warmer you can get these son of a guns, the better. Okay, so pick a nice warm day and do it. Shoot them, and then shoot them, and then come back later. Try to do it. If you can do it in like an enclosed area with some sort of heat source, even better. Now, we got to talk about drive shafts. Okay, started the truck up, pulled it out. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to show you how I measured this drive shaft. This drive shaft is from one of my parts trucks out back. Now I have a few other drive shafts up here that I could use. Okay, some might even be closer to the exact correct length. But I'm not going to use those. Why not? You might ask. Well, it's like this. There is a reason why truck drive shafts are as large as they are. You think about a truck has to work sometimes. Towing, hauling a heavy load, and those sort of things. So you don't want a small, spindly drive shaft. You want a drive shaft that is larger in diameter. The larger material makes itself more user-friendly if you're hauling a heavy load, towing a heavy load, or you just got a lot more power under the hood. Okay? I will have a little more power under the hood. Maybe not a lot more, but a little bit more. So, now with the 8 3/4 right there getting swapped in, it's longer, from the center line. We'll look at this 8 3/4 center section here. From here, where the axle splines in at, to right here is longer. Now there is a guide you can Google it, and you can find out the length on these. On this, and then the 8 1/4 and the 9 1/4 and everything like that. Now, the drive shaft in my truck right now is set up for the 8 1/4 and 9 1/4. They are pretty much the same. There may be some small differences in length between the two, but they're pretty close to being the same. So, that being said, we need to measure the drive shafts. I need to measure this and figure out how long it is. Now, I've already measured this one here. So, and we need to measure because we need to shorten. My idea is to do this. This one came out of one of my parts trucks. So what I'm going to do is take this to the drive shaft shop, have them cut this off, and then shorten this. This is probably going to be shortened about 10 inches. And then re-weld this on in the correct location. And then they'll probably have to rebalance it too. These little pads, these little pieces here are balance weights, okay? Where it was balanced at the factory when the truck was new. Now, this just gives me an idea of how much is going to have to be taken out of this son of a gun, okay? So, while, excuse me. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to measure this, get an idea, and then once that rear end is under the truck, I will measure again from the center here, okay, the center here to the center of the yoke right here. And then I may be wrong about this, but I think you put the yoke in all the way, fully seated, and then you pull it back out like, I think, half an inch or something like that. I'm sure there's something online that'll tell me, or something in one of my books that will tell me. But I'll just show you how I measured this here real quick, and this will give you some grasp or idea on how to do this. Now, measuring tapes, if you have like the cloth measuring tape, those are like really actually pretty nice. But if you don't, here's how I recommend doing this. Okay. First of all, get yourself measuring tape, and then get yourself some magnets. Okay. And then take the magnet, set up your measuring tape. I'm gonna have to set up my tripod here real quick. Okay. All right, so we take our magnets, okay, set up our measuring tape. Boom. There we go. Alright, there we are. We're done with that. That is determined right there, right against the end. Alright, so now we're going to go over here. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to pull this out, okay, to get our final measurement. Now, we're also going to use some sort of straight edge. You probably want to use one that's probably something smaller than this this level, but you just want to put it on the edge of the yoke there and then measure. And we've got 65 3/8. Yep. Which is what I wrote down here on the drive shaft. So that's all you got to do. It's pretty simple, but if you're doing this with somebody, you don't have to use the magnets. But I will say this, you know, it can get aggravating trying to do this by yourself. Oh, another thing, be sure to write it down somewhere, okay? Put it in your phone, take a picture, something. If you have notepads on your phone, you can put it in that. I will just write it down on here. Now, UJoints. This uses the smaller 7260 yoke. The 8 3/4 that's going in, guess what? It uses the same size UJoint, okay? 7260. Mopar predominantly had two different size U-joints, 7260, 7290. 7260 was the smaller one, 7290 was the bigger one. Most of the time, thank you, Oliver, for your CAT scan duties. Most of the time, if you oh boy. He's a handful. Okay. Like I said, most of the time you will find that's what you will run across is the 7260 and the 7290 U-joints. Now there may be a couple of other sizes to, you know, that some of the Dodge trucks or some other Dodge Chrysler products used. But these are your more predominant ones, and the 7260 is the one you'll probably run across the most. Now, finding a yoke, 7260 yoke for a 741 case, 7290 yoke for 741 case, oh boy, that would be difficult. Now that is a 7260 there as well, and that come out of the blue, what was left of the blue truck that I dragged out of the woods that belongs to my buddy. That actually still belongs to him, that center section there, and he's going to get that back. So, my buddy Rodney, so that's going to go back to him. So, no, it is not for sale. Okay. All right. So, I'm trying to make some progress on all this. But as you can imagine, it's February. And guess what? It's cold out here, Jack. Yeah. So, yeah, it's pretty cold out here. I'm not going to lie. So, I want you all to understand what I'm doing out here. And while this isn't the measuring it this way is not the way that you will see a lot of people talk about. This is just gives you an idea of the length of the drive shaft. You do not have to do it the same way I'm doing it here. Furthermore, there is plenty of online stuff that tells you how to do this. Okay, the only reason I've got my drive shaft in between this toolbox and the ladder is because I'm trying to keep it from rolling around on the floor. Okay. Uh, Again, if you got somebody out here with you, you got somebody out there with you doing this, it's much easier. But the other issue is if you can make sure write your information down. Always write your stuff down, okay? Or record it, put it in your phone, whatever you got to do. Just make sure you record your information. Do not go and just willy-nilly throw it in there and or do it and say, oh hey, I'll remember it. No, you won't. Something will happen. So, all right. I thank you all so very much for watching and for subscribing and the likes and the shares and everything. I really, really seriously appreciate that. If you have any questions about this or anything else, just be sure you know what to do. Put it down there in the comment section. I will do my very best to get back to you and answer your question as soon as possible. All right. So, thank you very much, and God bless.